This video is part of the preparatory materials for the Design Approaches to Research, Tools and Techniques project. In this episode, we will be sharing tips and tricks on how to plan, design, and deliver a presentation that will captivate your audiences. Welcome to part 1 of our presentation skill video. In this section, we will be covering the planning phase of the presentation. First, let's discuss the differences between formal and informal presentation. Formal presentations are often structured with specific goals and objectives, and usually involve Q&A sessions or critique sessions. Informal presentations are more conversational and often involve smaller groups or one-on-one discussions. For this video, we focus on the formal presentations. An outline will help you organize your presentation and ensure that you cover all the necessary points. To begin, consider the following elements to include in your outline. Start with an opening to grab attention and introduce your topic. Break down your ideas into clear, distinct sections for easy understanding. Reinforce your points with data, examples, or anecdotes. Conclude with a closing statement or call to action. As you develop your outline, be sure to allocate timeframes for each section. This not only helps you manage the flow of your presentation, but also keeps you on track while delivering it. It is important to research your audience and understand what their interests and expectations are. This will help you make your presentation engaging, relevant, and accessible. If you are addressing a general audience, verify that your materials are appropriate for public disclosure, avoiding any sensitive or confidential information. You will also need to consider the mode of your presentation. Will it be synchronous or asynchronous? Will it be an in-person, remote, or hybrid presentation? These decisions will impact the screen format, slides requirement, and other logistical details of your presentation. For example, if you are presenting in person, you will need to consider the venue, the screen format and size, and whether you will need remote control or other on-site devices. For remote presentations, it's essential to consider factors that may impact your audience's experience. Make sure your slides display well on various devices, and consider whether screen sharing or utilizing specific platforms could present learning challenges for your audiences. Be prepared to address technical issues and incorporate breaks or engaging elements to maintain audience interest throughout the presentation. Hybrid presentations present a unique set of challenges, as you will need to plan for both groups. You may want to consider having separate slides or visuals for in-person and remote audiences, and using a platform that allows for interaction and engagement from both groups and providing clear instructions for how to participate in the presentation. Preparing proper documentation for your presentation is crucial, in case you need to refer back to it or share it with others later. If you plan to record your presentation, you will need to obtain permission to take and use any videos, photographs, screenshots, chats, and names of those who participate in your presentation. Make sure to double-check with people whether you also need permission to use the name of their organization or ask them to refrain from using it. Additionally, if any public officials or government employees will be in attendance, and be aware of any requirements for recording them. If you plan to use work products that have someone's name on them, make sure to obtain their permission as well. Assigning a note taker can also help capture important points. During the presentation, the note taker can also assist with recording questions and comments from the audience. Now that you have planned out your presentation, it's time to move on to the designing phase, where you will bring your message to life with visually appealing and effective slides. The first step in designing your presentation is to choose a color palette. Colors can draw your audience focus. but using too many can be distracting. If you have selected 3 colors, a good way to balance them on the slide or throughout the presentation is the 60-30-10 rule. This means that the primary color takes up 60% of the space, the secondary takes up 30%, and the accent color accounts for the final 10%. You can also use different shades within the 60-30-10 rule to create some varieties. You can make your slides more accessible by using colorblind friendly palettes. Choose colors that have high contrasts, such as dark blue and white, or dark gray and yellow. You can also use online tools to simulate how your slides would appear to someone with color blindness. Once you have chosen your color palette, it's time to create a template that will establish a consistent visual theme throughout your presentation. The visual elements in the presentation slides influence the order in which our eyes choose to look and help us create emphasis. Start with picking a typeface. Ensure that your chosen typeface is easy to read, both on screen and in print. Sans serif typefaces are often considered more legible for digital presentations, whereas serifs can be well suited for printed materials. Avoid using multiple typefaces within a single presentation, and stick to 1 or 2 fonts for consistency and readability. Ensure that your text size is large enough to be easily read by your audience, even from a distance. A general rule of thumb is to use a minimum font size of 24 points for body text and 32 points or larger for headings. When uncertain about alignment choices, opt for left alignment. Although centered content may seem attractive due to its symmetry, the left-aligned text is typically easier to read. The left edge creates a visual line that our eyes can quickly follow. Another important aspect of designing your presentation is mixing the ways you communicate the information you present. Avoid using huge paragraphs of text. Instead, use keywords and phrases that are concise. You can also try icons or images to pair with your points, making them more engaging and memorable for your audience. When using multiple icons, use a consistent stroke width or field color, so using icons from the same pack is a good idea. At the same time, don't use icons that are too complicated and unreadable in smaller sizes. Animations can also be a great way to add interest and emphasis to your presentation, but be careful not to overdo it. Too many animations can be distracting and take away from the message you are trying to convey. Finally, make sure to proofread and edit your presentation before delivering it. Typos and grammatical errors can undermine your credibility and distract your audience from your message. Let's move on to the final phase, delivering. This is where you take all the hard work you have done and share it with your audience. First and foremost, let's talk about clarity. Your message should be clear, concise, and easy to understand. It is important to use language that is appropriate for your target audience. Don't use complex vocabulary. If you are speaking to a general audience, for example, a presentation is about introducing the concept of cryptocurrency to a general audience, we could start with the following definition. And here is another way to define cryptocurrency. The language is more technical in the second example. Would a general audience understand terms such as cryptographic protocols, consensus algorithms, and distributed ledgers? This may be confusing for a general audience unfamiliar with the topic. As we addressed previously, one common mistake people make when delivering content is using too much text. And if you need to go into more detail, consider creating a handout or supplementary material your audience can refer to. It is recommended to avoid reading the content on your presentation slides to better engage with your audience and maintain their attention. If you simply read what's on the slide, your audience will become bored and disengaged because they can read it themselves. Instead, speak to your audience and elaborate on the points from the slides to provide a deeper understanding of the information being presented. Additionally, it shows that you are well prepared and knowledgeable about the topic, which can increase your credibility as a presenter. And don't forget about the importance of body language and eye contact. This can help you connect with your audience. And there you have it, the 3 phases of creating effective presentation slides. By following these tips and best practice, you can create slides that inform, engage, and inspire your audiences. Coming up in our next episode, we will be introducing the concept of problem identification and design criteria, and how they will benefit your design process.